look at, for example, the Tax Reform Act of 1986 that came out of the Reagan administration, that was a really well-drafted tax law. It was clean. It was fairly straightforward to understand what was in it. This bill, as I'm sure you know, was sort of drafted in about a month, and there were like comments written in margins that got into the law. There's stuff that didn't get into the law that was supposed to get into the law. So from just a standpoint of drafting the bill, this thing is a mess. So we need technical corrections legislation, which is what we've had in every past tax bill. Will it increase investment? Maybe. Hard to be sure. Will it increase GDP, wages, and incomes? I am doubtful, for the simple reason that the economy is right now humming along so much. I don't know how goosing it more is going to get you more GDP. What happened with the 2017 bill, which goes into effect January 1st, 2018, is that it cut the rate from 35 to 21%, but it didn't do anything with the deductions. And so the amount of revenue generated by corporations is going to fall by about $1 trillion over the course of the next 10 years, $100 billion a year. Now, your state and local deduction is limited to $10,000. The standard deduction has been doubled from $12,000 to $24,000. As a result of that, we think only about 10% of people will itemize now. One of the reasons I think this bill is going to have less impact than people are assuming is the lower income people are probably not itemizers in the first place. This is the right way to look at tax cuts, which is what share of GDP are you cutting? This is the size of the current tax cut, about 1% of GDP. So it's a real tax cut, but it's not remotely the biggest ever. Real estate has actually been unfavorably treated by the tax code relative to other kinds of investments since the Tax Reform Act of 1986. So much of real estate was sheltered by depreciation before. That depreciation is not quite as generous as it was before. If the after-tax cost of capital drives house prices, that's the argument about the mortgage interest deduction, it should be the case that for a given rent, housing becomes more valuable as the after-tax cost of capital falls. I can't find any evidence that the mortgage interest deduction has much influence on house prices one way or the other.